Hey, what is going on, my Patriots? How y'all guys doing? If it's your first time tuning in to me on the broadcast, please do me a huge favor. Go ahead on and hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button and that notification bell all the way up top. Also, please share this broadcast. And please participate in the $5 challenge. It helps keep the channel alive. Also, too, please participate in the $5 challenge on the GoFundMe for my wife. Like I said, she went to the doctor today. We still trying to do more tests to find out about some things. Hopefully, it's not going to be what we think it is. But until then, you know, every donation will help. Thank y'all for all the support. Shout out to, again, Mr. Jericho Green for giving me the opportunity to interview him. And everyone else that has recently followed me on this channel. With that being said, let's get into this. So, we're going to talk about Major League Baseball All-Star Game. So, last week, it was announced that Georgia was no longer going to be the premier city. All because of a voting law of where you have to show your ID, can't get fed, but the polls is going to be open longer so people have a chance to vote, right? Yeah. Well, you had the liberals lose their damn mind. When I say they lose their mind, you got Stacey Abrams, you got Raphael Warnock, you got John Ossoff, all of them, even Obama saying that, hey man, this is racist. You even had the nerve to have Joe Biden say that this was like a Jim Crow law. Alright, well, you know what happened, right? All of the backlash, Major League Baseball want to be a part of the rest of the woke culture, was like, oh no, we can't have the All-Star Game here. So I know you're probably guessing like, oh my God, why would they do that? It's for the black community. Atlanta is a predominantly black city. It's in Georgia, you know, home of the Braves. Oh yeah, they didn't do that. And it gets worse, because then after they did that, they moved it to another city, Denver, Colorado, that has the same laws as Atlanta in voting. Oh, it gets even more comical. This city has a 9% of black people in it, 3% black residents in Denver, and everybody else is white. What happened to the Black Lives Matter in this? It cracks me up. So when they get this pointed out, you got Stacey Abrams at first saying they were brave for standing up, but then when they find out that Atlanta lost $100 million because of this bullshit of a play that the woke politicians wanted to do about this new voting law, $100 million. Now, everybody is like trying to take it back, trying to do damage control, but it's too late. Because now, Major League Baseball done made their decision, and looks like Denver will be that city, right? That's going to reap the rewards of the benefits. But y'all know Sleepy Grandpa Biden has something to say. So let me tell you what he said. His message was, you guys need to smarten up. Okay? Or you're going to lose business over your new election laws. But the election laws ain't even oppressive. It's just telling you to bring an ID. You have to bring an ID when you get season tickets. When you purchase season tickets at any of a Major League Baseball event for the season for your favorite team, do you know you have to have an ID to pick up those tickets? Because you got to prove who you are. So if you got to do that, there can't be oppression, right? You have to put in an ID when you do a credit check online to get credit. You don't believe me? My wife can testify to this too. We and her have had to, when you fill out to get a phone on Verizon or any of the major retailers, you have to put in your ID information to prove that you are who you say you are, along with your social. So what is the big fucking problem? I tell you what it is. People can't be sneaky. See, they made it easier to vote. As the high twins say, harder to manipulate or cheat. I'm just saying, like I said, you two, I'm just making a statement. I'm not saying that ever happened, just making a statement. Now, as Biden was rambling about this, people basically was like laughing at this guy because people's trying to figure out where's the Jim Crow in this. But hey, I guess now when you're trying to open up polls from 7 a.m. in the morning to 7 p.m. in the morning for the hard working person, I guess that's oppression, right? I guess when you can't have water and food in line, and you should have ate throughout the day anyway before you went in that polling at 5 and 6 o'clock. Hey, I guess that's oppression, right? I don't get it. It boggles my mind. Now, speaking of that situation, we're going to talk about another comical situation about the border. Now, we all know that Kamala Harris has not said anything for 13 days. The Caesar of the border. We also talked about how President Biden said there's no situation at the border in the rest of his admin. Well, rumor has it now that Joe Biden is strongly considering into finishing up the wall because of the influx of immigrants and cartel members driving through. Now, my wife is laughing next to me on this video, but the reason why she's laughing because me and her predicted this about a couple of weeks ago, talking while we was chilling together, laughing and watching a movie together, laying down in bed. We were like, you know what, honey? I think they're going to possibly finish the wall. She's like, you know what, honey? You might be on to something. Well, what do we know? It's in the talks. Now, when Jen Psaki, the White House representative, was asked about this situation, well, you know how she do. She gonna play as dumb as she always do. There's some things that we really haven't looked over yet. You know, when she start doing that circling back talk, that means basically it's probably true, but she don't want to say anything because she's scared if she do say anything, she'll be fired by the end of the week. Because, you know, she got to fight for her job daily. So we'll keep an eye on this. Now, please believe that at the border recently, there were some, at the southern border, they nabbed some FBI terrorists that was on the watch list. But you're not going to hear anything about that because, again, mainstream media wants you to understand and feel like the border has no issues. Right? Yeah. That's what they do. That's what they do. That is what they do. Now, let's see here. Let's see what was the last thing I want to talk to you. Oh! Now, we also want to talk about 60 Minutes versus DeSantis. Now, 60 Minutes recently released a report that tries to say that the Florida governor, Ron Desantis, basically was taking part in a pay-for-play scheme. Now, they're trying to say that the grocery store chain that is serving the vaccines right now, Publix, in Florida, that they had donated $100,000 to his campaign when he was running for governor. And they basically trying to say, hey, because they did that, that Ron decided, alright, you hook me up with this campaign money, I'm going to give y'all one of the biggest contracts to help out with the coronavirus, aka COVID. That is farther from the truth. And you know what's funny about that? A liberal stood up for Ron Desantis. Actually, several of them stood up for him. The guy that is, what's his name? I want to say Zachary Bazoo. Yeah, Zachary Bazoo. This, the Zachary dude. Now, this Zachary dude that stood up for him works as the director. He's the guy who's assigns and research who's going to get contracts for the state of Florida. And he was pissed. Now, this guy is what you call a super liberal head, because if you look on his Twitter feed, this guy got mask on emojis. He puts mask. He always talk about social distancing. He always cries about, you know, the whole nine. What the CDC says, he says. He was like, nah. Hell to the nah. I picked them. I the one that looked over that. Ron had nothing to do with, he didn't even know that Publix was even in the play to be a part of that. I sought that up. How can you sit here and say the governor is a liar? Man, I tell you, when you hear liberals stand up for a Republican, you know it's a bad day. It's a bad day. 60 Minutes fucking up. I mean, it is crazy. I mean, 60 Minutes just went on that man like crazy. For real. But, you know, they got to keep everybody divided. They don't want to see no partisanship. They want to make sure that everybody think that conservatives are the dirtbags and the Democrats are the next holiest thing since blessed water from the Vatican. Hey, man, this is what it is. It's how it gets down out here. Alright, let's see here. Oh, yeah. Last but not least, I got to make y'all laugh on this. Let's talk about ESPN Paul Pierce. Oh, man. Well, I got one more at Paul Pierce. Paul Pierce. So, Paul Pierce was feeling himself over the weekend. You know, ESPN is most liberal channel out there, right? They believe in all this equality, you know, all that stuff, right? They pro-woman, everything. Well, I guess Paul Pierce forgot he was on ESPN and is working, because this cat was on Instagram Live. He had half-naked women dancing on him. He had a cup of Hennessy, playing cards. Hey guys, we out here chilling. I'm living my best life, just chopping it up. Dudes was like, hey man, you know, I don't want to be on this camera. Some of them dudes left. Paul was like, I don't care. His live was lit. Women was dancing, shaking, twerking. Well, when Paul came back to work Monday, they basically told Paul, we love your IG and your energy, but your ass got to go. God. So the moral of the story is, when keeping it real goes wrong, y'all can't do that, man. What's wrong with you? You can't do that. You can't do that, man. You is a anchor, a big time anchor. You can't be. Oh Lord, oh Lord, you can't do that, man. I don't know who told you it was cool. But hey, happy life, huh? That's all I'm going to say. Living your best life. Alright, so last but not least for the night, we're going to talk about the California prisons. California transgender inmates is to request a transfer to the prison aligning their gender identity. Now, this is going on, the men going into the women's side. There are about roughly 260 apps. None didn't got disapproved, but right now 255 is supposed to be coming in at a minimum into the women's prisons across California that are transgender. Now, the guards have been telling these women, oh, you think it's bad now? You wait till the men get here. A lot of these women are upset, in fear, terrified, because you're dealing with men who came from very violent prisons. In some cases, that's coming to your prison as a woman who are a lot stronger and a lot more dominant. So but they swear out they're women. Now, some women are afraid that some of these guys are going to come off as being, saying they rock that way, and yet they're not. They actually, are trying to get in there to have relationships with women while they serve their time out of prison. So, yeah, it's a scary situation. I don't blame these women. I mean, I don't agree with it. I think that if they wanted to separate these the transgender population out of the regular straight male and female prison, they should have just made one prison where they could have the transgender male and transgender female, reside there. One side for that male, one side of the other prison for the female. So that way everybody is housed properly, taken care of, getting the right treatments. But America that makes too much sense. That's just like separating transgender women out of women's sports, right? And having their own sports field. That wouldn't make sense to them. So either way it goes, they have reassured these women that they have went through the proper movement to make sure that these men qualify to be in these prisons. But that still is a lot for women to deal with, because I understand where they're coming from. How can you classify? Somebody could put on a very good act and say they got feminine tendencies and get with a chick or get around near a chick and get in that prison. They're nowhere near that. The cover is way different. They're more masculine than anything. So it is, to me, a very delicate situation that I think California is not going to be ready for. That's my personal opinion. I don't think it's not going to end good. And if it does end opposite of that, that's fine. That's fine. That is fine. So either way it goes, this is all I have for you guys for this lovely Tuesday. Again, I will be back doing lives, which will be tomorrow. I love you guys. Take care of yourself and each other. Again, take your time, enjoy your family, and enjoy what God has given you, because you never know if it's promised today or tomorrow. That's all I got for y'all. Be easy. I'm out.